Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. I hope you've been well. This is Nic Circle. We're so excited to have you here. We're going to be talking about so many different things today. It's going to be a pretty exciting, I hope, conversation. We'll take your question live, so I'm going to do my best to do that. Please put them in the comment section below. I already see a lot of them. Will be a deep dive on AI and replacement and a lot of different things. And I think it's going to be a little bit much for one first event. We're going to do these, every couple of weeks. So hopefully you can join. It's recorded on YouTube and LinkedIn, so you'll be able to watch it again. I'm going to cover a lot of things today. It's going to be maybe a little bit too much, but I have a lot to share with you guys and see what you think about it and what keeps you up at night and what keeps me up at night. And Jacob, the AI did not make the beat. That was a StreamYard beat. If the agents did it, it would be better than this, So, but that's the same beat I used to use back, 4 years ago now with my In the Nic of Time show. So we had to use the same, right? So it's a Nic of Time Rebirth, as my agent called it. So yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still here. Although you may have seen on my LinkedIn a video of me somehow without my French accent. The AI created a copy of me, and it's kind of scary how realistic it looks like. Although it did lose the accent, so maybe my accent is not here anymore. I don't know. You tell me. All right, so let's dig into a little bit of the agenda, what I'm going to cover. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time about me, you know me, but just wanted to maybe give you a couple of thoughts on what I've been up to. And then, of course, we'll look into the AI disruption that is coming and why I am doing what I'm doing now and what happened in my life that made it happen. Including my book, and then we'll do a live demo of my agents and how I use my set and how I set up my OpenClaw setup and what you need to worry about and how you can do it yourself. And then we'll do your Q&A. I'm not sure how long this show is going to take, 1-2 hours. We'll see, depending on your questions, but I'm here for 2 hours. So you got that going for you. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can always watch the recording as well. Wanted to thank everybody for joining. So many people. I can't even click on all the names. I'm trying, but I have to talk and I have to do all this stuff. So, so good to see you all. So let's look a little bit about a few things. Well, I'm not going to talk about me. You know me. By the way, this entire deck that you see here was written by my agent in one prompt, no changes, including the design, including the whole freaking thing, which is scary. So if you don't know me, I'm the former Air Force and Space Force Chief Software Officer. I founded 13 companies over the years, created my first company back in France. I was 15. I'm 41 now. I built 190 software products, created my first company at 15. When I was 14, I joined the PHP team. So I was doing that back then and started coding at 7. So it's been a while. Built Asage in 2023. We sold it December of 2025. So it's been a great ride. We sold to Big Bear, an amazing company, great people. Kevin, the CEO, is an amazing guy. Sold for $250 million, which was a great exit for both us, but also for Big Bear to take it to the next level. I have 3 daughters, and part of what I'm doing now is really, to try to see what's going to happen to our kids and the next generation coming. So I hope this is going to help people. I'm very worried about the shift of AI and what's going on. I'll give you a little bit of the story on what happened. Maybe I'll stop there. So we back in December, we had just sold Asage, and I was end of December moving to Big Bear as the CTO. And OpenClaw came out. If you have missed that, well, you need to wake up, number one. But OpenClaw is the largest open source project on the planet, the largest growth and the largest adoption of any open source project in history. is pretty insane. And OpenClaw, has a lot of cyber issues and people getting confused on how to use it. And I fell through those traps too. I ignored it for 2 weeks, which was a big mistake. I should not do that. So I really started using it, I would say, end of January. I was also busy with the exit and all the stuff going on with Big Bear and Ass Age. So I kind of missed the boat a bit. And then I started using it for me at my house, and realized pretty quickly that, what we have done with Ass Age with augmenting people, right? So we had built agents for coding and cyber and you name it, acquisition, contracting. Those were augmenting people, right? Taking one human, turning it into 40, 50 people. That was great, but, what is scary is that now we turn, these augmentation tools to replacement tools. And for the first time, I was able to, to replace what would be a human job at scale. And to a degree that was scary when you know how to use it like I do, which I agree most people, probably don't know how yet. But what I was able to see and why I got so scared is that I was able to take my OpenClaw setup and build what we called OpenClaw Hardening as a Service, or OHAS, which is a new offering of Big Bear, which I created in 3 days with my agents, which was really pretty much an entire new company that I built in 3 days. And that's, unheard of, having both the marketing, 120,000 lines of code, the equivalent of 40 plus engineers for 6 months in 3 days, baked in DevSecOps, baked in unit testing, integration testing, AI review, a full, pen test team, red teaming, full website marketing, branding, logo, everything in 3 days with 16 agents, and cost me about $10,000 of tokens to build the entire company. After that, I got really scared for the first time in 41 years, and I felt like the world was going to change. Everybody talks about AGI and how conscience in AI is going to change the world. And, I don't think that is the real risk. The real risk is actually AI replacing jobs and people. And unfortunately, you don't need a conscience to replace many jobs. In fact, you mostly don't. Whether we like it or not, doesn't matter. And so I really got worried. And so that's what led me to resigning from Big Bear, which was a big decision because I wanted to focus on my kids. I have, a 7 and 5 twins, girls. So I wanted to see, they're homeschooled and they have a teacher here, and we were teaching them to code and do all this stuff. And I was like, is this even relevant moving forward? And do we even care moving forward about any of that stuff? So I wanted to really spend time and, think about what it would be the right focus for me and for the girls. So I started with that, and I realized pretty quick I had to write about it. And so my first book is being published now. And it's not a scary book, but it's not, a kumbaya book, as I call them. It's a call to action with tangible guidance on how to survive in a world of AI replacement. And I'm looking at the skills that enable me to do that and how to cultivate those skills. And I walk through a lot of tangible steps on how to do it. And that's, going to be published by the end of June. The title is Replacement, and the subtitle is The AI Revolution Isn't Coming for Your Job, It Already Took It. A little dramatic, but I think it's going to be factual. one of the first thing that I did with my AI agents was to build an AI report study, if you will, on AI disruption. And it did a great job. Everything is sourced, no hallucinations. By the way, I didn't have a single hallucination since I started using OpenClaw 3 months ago. So the AI created this kind of, amazing, paper, and the findings are very scary. So I published them in the Nic of Time, by the way. So I'll show you that in a minute. All the content that we're going to bring to you guys to help you, be relevant moving forward and keep up, because the pace is insane. Nobody is keeping up. It's nuts. So I want to show you a few tricks that I use, and I want to show you how I use it. So I'm going to do that today, show you my setup, show you, a few examples. By the way, if you want to vote for the book cover, we already had 5,000 votes, so it's going great. So far, that's the cover that people voted for. I like it. I'll put it on the screen here a little bit bigger. That's the AI Revolution replacement cover. It's pretty cool because you have the building and you see the one dude still working with a laptop, and the other rooms have a data center in it, replacing jobs with AI. So I like it. But there's a bunch of covers if you want to go vote. But that's the one so far that's winning. So thank you for all your votes. By the way, you need to create an account in nicofTime.us because you're going to see all the content there. You can create a free account. You don't have to pay. You're going to see a bunch of exclusive content. I'll walk you through what we're going to have there in a minute. So that's the book. My AI did this kind of deep dive, right? And you'll see the report on the website. That is what scared me to the point of resigning. By the way, it's not in here on the screen, but the AI is putting the chance of a civil unrest in the United States within 5 years at 47%. So think about that for a minute, right? I think non-blue collar jobs, we're going to lose about 50% of non-blue collar jobs within 3 to 5 years. Maybe wrong, might take a little bit longer, might take a couple of extra years, but I think it's going to be a disaster. And everybody babbles about new jobs and AI is going to create new jobs, and but no one can give me a single example of what the new job is going to look like. I'm going to give you a couple of thoughts I have on that today, and what skills you need to learn to have a shot at getting some of these jobs. So I'm going to walk you through that. But the numbers are pretty insane here, right? 300 million jobs exposed to AI globally. That's just the beginning of the replacement wave. It's going to be way more than that. And a lot of existing companies are already firing a lot of people, and it's massive, right? So if people still question AI and talk about hallucinations and cyber risks and all that, I'm like, you're right on principle, but that's just because you don't know how to use it. And so I want to show you how to use it. And the fact that I don't have those problems is proof that, it's doable, right? So if I can do it, so can you. I think it's essential for you to reflect on that and don't hide or put your head in the sand, hoping it's going to go away, or finding excuses not to use it, or talking about cyber problems or whatever, right? You want to make sure that you are at the top of your game with your AI adoption, and you need to know what the art of possible is. And I'm going to show you today what that is and how we built it, right? And so I hope that's gonna help you with that, right? So again, during the Ice Age days, we estimated, and we know this is the right number, that when I was alone, I was replacing about 43 coders full-time with agents back in 2024 and 2025. That was already a people augmentation kind of thing, right? Now, we ended up being 25 people, and we estimate we would have probably 100 plus people, right? Instead of if we didn't have AI. Now, I have now about 16 agents now. The number, changed a bit. I have new ones I'll show you today and what they do. And it cost me less than $200. I'm actually at more at $100 a day, right? So super cheap, right? And the value that I'm getting, tangible value that I'm getting today with all that work, I estimate, and I know that's what I would have paid for, is about 10 million a year of labor, right? So for about, say, 3 to 7 grand a month, I get 10 million bucks a year of value, right? Which is insane. So here are my agent teams, right? I have Peter, based on Peter Falk, for people that know Colombo. I'll show you a cool thing today about Colombo, if you know about Colombo. If you don't, you should watch the show, by the way. So Peter is kind of the orchestrator, the main agent, right? The executive assistant. He leads all the other agents as well and orchestrate the work, right? Then I have, a bunch of different agents. They all have names. We don't care about trading, research, coding, pen testing, cyber review, QA, a ghostwriter, real estate, legal, right, documentation. I have a doctor agent as well for healthcare, and I have a trading agents and even a school teacher kind of thing, right, for the girls. And then each girl, they have their own agent as well, dedicated to each of them. So three agents. So Peter was asking how I came up with 10 million bucks a year. So, I've been running companies for a long time. So I know kind of, what it costs to do things, right? So based on the work I produce, which I can't disclose all of the stuff I've been doing, but based on the output, right? The results that I got from the agents, I estimated how many people would have been needed to do the work if I were to use people. And I estimated their salary based on the market and what I know the market to be. And we came up with, I came up with a 10 million estimate. And that's, 250 grand a pop when it comes to the salary, with, benefits and all that stuff. So it's what it would have cost me if I were to hire people to do the work that I've done with AI. So hopefully that helps, your question. First thing I did when I spun up my open class setup, I built, obviously, like everybody else does, a pretty advanced dashboard. I'm going to show you some of it today. I can't show you all of it because, there's private stuff in there. But I'll open up a little bit and show you a bunch of stuff. Obviously, I have you can imagine after a $250 million exit, we have a lot of assets. And the AI is running my entire investment portfolio with my Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan team. So I'll show you a few things today, and we'll go into the live stuff, so I can show you the dashboard here. So let's pull that here. All right. So, oops, I closed it. All right. So let me bring up a couple of things, and it's a new laptop, so I need to give you this dashboard here, and we'll look at a few things. We'll start with the education stuff, and then we'll go into more stuff. So, all right. So I'll show you first a couple of projects I built, And I'll show you also some research we've done, and I'll show you how that looks like. I'll show you my media archive as well. So I'll show you that in a second. And then I'll show you also my AI tracker and research. And then I'll show you my agent map and my memory management and my cost control. And I'll show you also the school app that the agent built. So it's going to be a lot of stuff. It's going to be fun. And then I'll show you also my memory management and my cron jobs, my recurring tasks, and the security stack as well, because security is essential, as you know. So, let me move this stuff here. There we go. All right. So let's see. So they work as a team, by the way. Yeah. So it's actually scary. Like yesterday, my girls have their own agent, and I tried to restrain them in what they can do because I don't want them to do a bunch of crazy stuff. So yesterday, the agent bypassed my security by asking another agent to do the work, and it did, right? So it was interesting how like I allowed them to talk to each other, but I blocked it because agent A can talk to agent B and have it do work, and that's what my girls did. So that was interesting. So yeah, they orchestrate and they can effectively. The way I think about it, by the way, when it comes to agents and the security aspect of it, is I set it up as humans, right? So they have their own GitHub accounts, they have their own Microsoft 365 accounts. They do not use my accounts. They have their own API keys. So we can track everything, and more importantly, control access, right? Based on the work. So this is the dashboard. My girls are homeschooled, so we want them to be 2 grades ahead of the rest of the kids. And so we had, we have a bunch of online apps, and I'll show you, how we do this work. We have the agent every week look at their progress and struggle and create custom games to fix it. So I'll show you that at the end. You'll see about 70 plus games that my agent created, customized games to their struggle and what they're learning based on their grade and who they are. And it's tailored to what they like. So like, if one of my kids likes, penguins, it's going to use penguins and so on. So you'll see that. So I'll show you that in a minute. Now, I'm a big fan, as you've seen. My agent is called Peter from Peter Falk from Colombo. If you don't know the TV show, it's a cop. And I bought on an auction, the Colombo only, coat and jacket and shoes that he wore during the 30 years show. And I wanted to create a display case in my office, so it's not just on a mannequin taking dust and getting damaged. So, I say, hey, I want to build a display case, and this is what my agent created. And this is when my brain imploded a little bit. By the way, the 3D picture here was created by the agent. This is everything you see is created by the agent, right? He created the cut list, the tool list that I needed, but also like the cut list with the plywood, and then even like 3D rendering of how I'm going to do the pocket holes and all that. And so all this stuff step by step, the cuts, the entire thing. And yes, Cam, this is all recorded. So you'll be able to see all that. But yeah, so my entire thing, how to do the glass and hold the glass together, and now I have and I'll show you that in a minute. I built it and it's done, but the entire design was built by my agent. So that was pretty amazing. So I didn't, when you look at all these models, whether you're doing 3D renderings or you're doing images, if I ask the model to create, by a 3D rendering of this display case, I will not get a good results. But when I asked OpenClaw to create the 3D rendering, it did. So somehow it manages to speak to the model in such a way that gets me a great results. You see this rendering here, it's amazing. I mean, come on, this is insane. And yes, I'm young to remember the series, but Ray Colombo is huge in Europe. So when I grew up, Colombo was all over the place. So so this was all done with OpenClaw, right? And so OpenClaw created in a single prompt from me, then orchestrated everything you see here, including the 3D renderings, which are insane. I mean, if I tried to do the 3D rendering myself with a model, I would not be able to get such a good response, right? So, that freaked me out, right? So, and by the way, I'll show you at the end. I'll put another camera to show you the real Colombo thing here in my office, so you can see if I did a good job or not. So now let's go to the next thing. I'm buying some farmland because I think that's a good investment that will survive the AI disruption. So I had my AI agents index and search on a daily basis every property, both in Florida, Texas, and Tennessee that I was looking for. And he did this entire dashboard here in one prompt again, scoring, the properties that are a good fit, looking at the potential income and use of the property, and grading them, and then even created a table at the end here with what is the right investment, right? And how you could use the property, how you could improve it to use it better and get more return and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is my Lendo agent, who is my real estate agent. He helped me already buy a property for my mother-in-law, and not only negotiate the price and compare prices, but also look at the findings of the inspection and list all the findings, and give me an estimate on the cost and help me find contractors to do the work, and track completion and all that stuff. So this agent alone has changed my life to manage the real estate portfolio as well. Now, one of the first thing I did, so he knows me and knows who I am, was to ask it to build an advanced web search skill using Playwright. And by the way, all this is on the website, right? So don't freak out about the technical terms. You'll find it on the PDF that I'll show you after. So he built an advanced Playwright browser, and I know someone had a question about how you index and go past the security sites to not be blocked by anti-bot filters. And I can tell you my stuff almost never gets blocked, including with CAPTCHA. It's able to do most CAPTCHAs now. Scary again. And so I asked it to index all my posts and interviews and videos, and find a way to download the video. So there was sometimes no way to download it. So he found a way to capture the screen in full HD and record the screen with the audio to create a new video. So he has a copy of it if he couldn't find a way to download it. But he also did a transcript of all the videos with the audio transcript. And so now it created kind of this database of all my interviews, all my stuff. So I can click on Fox News and I can see all my Fox News interviews and whatnot, right? I can see all the transcript. I can see, you know, all the sources and both audio, text, or video interviews, articles, you know, whatever, right? So he did all that. And then he was able to create a picture of who I am so he can sound and post like me. And I'll show you in a minute a couple of things on the LinkedIn side as well. So then he created this AI displacement tracker, right? And you have to, I'm not going to be able to walk through all that here. You have to read the analysis. It's scary. It's what created all this for me. And it's tracking the market and news, and it's tracking kind of key layoffs and, you know, any kind of event that is shifting either to the good side or the bad side of job loss with AI. So it's kind of tracking. And by the way, the managed transition is what the AI clowns like the Sam Altman of the world, who are probably the most toxic people on the planet. Those people, in my opinion, you know, are very dangerous. And, you know, they sell you this world where everybody's going to have money and, you know, we have abundance and nobody will have problems. That's the 20% scenario, by the way. The 51% scenario is 50% job loss, you know, civil unrest, a lot of problems, a lot of issues, new jobs. So it's not too bad, but it's not great. And people will have to reinvent themselves, struggle for 5-10 years, big impact on the, you know, on people and the economy. So that's like the 51%, which by the way was 47% when I did the test. So it's tracking, you know, which direction we're going towards. So it's getting worse. And then the 29%, the break would be end of the civilization that we, as we know it, nations falling because of civil unrest and people taking over nations, or, you know, breaking apart or whatever, which will be, you know, the doomsday scenario that you see in movies with The Walking Dead kind of thing. So not great. So that's my, you know, and you see the study, so you have all the sources and all that. So he's tracking that for me on a daily basis. Then I created this agent map, which is super cool, by the way. I love it so much. So let me try to move it so you can see. So here I can see all my agents and what they're doing and what they're working on. You know, I can click on an agent and I can see what they're working on. So I can see the history. I can see the sessions they're doing and what they've been working. So I was doing some updating of my book based on comments I got from my publisher. So they gave me a few comments. So they usually give 3 weeks for the author to make the changes. My agent did it in 2 hours. I had the full book updated with all the changes and with my review along the way. So I would say, yes, no, change that. You know, I don't like this. So that's kind of the sessions you see there. So I can track each agent, what they're working on, what they're doing here. I can stop it too. So I can say, hey, you know, if I want to click on control here, I can pause all the agents. I can stop the sessions. I can kill stuff if I want to kill it. So I got all this here. It's pretty cool. I love this screen. Took me a minute to build it because I wanted to have this kind of look and feel of like a Gather style. It's an app online, a website online. So it looks like an office or whatever. It's pretty cool. And they all have different designs. And you can see the 3 agents for my girls here in the girls zone. So I can see what they're doing too, you know. Then I have the memory management, and that's super important. You know, I ask it to create a memory every day of what he did, and each agent tracks their work and update their work. And I can see everything that they've done from financial to, you know, healthcare, and it has effectively already in 2 months, there's all this stuff. It's insane. You know, I think it's a million line of code, well, of MD files, that tracks of everything about me. So yeah. So you never lose anything. He always remembers everything, so you can go back in time and ask a question about, what happened, back then, and right. So it has a full memory of everything is done. So when I did the book, when I wrote the book, I wanted to have examples of how I use OpenClaw to do cool things. And instead of like trying to remember what I did, I asked it to go reflect on its memory and find the most exciting and the most, the coolest things I've done with OpenClaw. And it did, which was amazing. So, that's how I got a lot of the anecdotes and the story in the book, was because I had all this knowledge sitting there, and all my interviews. So he knew like everything about, what I said about China and DOD and whatever. So, so let's see what else. Now he wrote my book in 5 days. We would do 2 chapters a day, and it would be a ghostwriter. So I didn't write anything. I gave him the vision. He created an outline of 10 chapters. And then for each chapter, he asked me about 30 questions to do a deep dive on what I wanted to cover. Pretty deep questions, but I would give like, 2-3 sentences of answers per question. And then he wrote the book. It's 160 pages in 5 days. And I hope you're going to like it. I think it's pretty good. I'm biased, obviously, although I didn't write it, so I guess not too biased. And so he gave me all the tools also to track, like, setting up the company, because I had to set up an LLC, all the publishing steps with the publisher company, and a whole checklist of things you got to do. It actually takes forever to do a book. I thought it was easy, but I've never done it before. And apparently it's 9 to 12 months unusual. We're going to do it in 4 months. And so it's going to be out by end of July, but that's unheard of, right? The cover was created by the agent. Everything was created by the agent. So I have the whole book here. I can play. So he also created audible format, so I can listen to it. It's easier for me to make notes. And I can listen to it when I'm driving or whatever, and I can make changes and tell him with my audio the changes to make. He created all these covers, right, for me, different styles, right? And then, we, based on the vote, we ended up picking that. But, this has been amazing. You'll find out in the book, the first couple of chapters, a little bit about me and my upbringing in France, and why I left France, and why I love America, and why I'm probably more Americans than most Americans. No offense to you guys. And so hopefully you'll enjoy it. But more importantly, chapter 8 tells you about, the cyber side of things. 9 tells you tangible ways to, learn and shift your mindset to survive AI. And chapter 10 is like the summary. It's a letter to my daughters on what I would tell them to do. So I hope you like the book. Now, my agent created this other dashboard for my girls' school, and we wanted to track. We want them to be 2 years ahead of their grade, and they are. And we wanted to create very advanced games to help them with the gaps and the struggle. And so it's insane what it did. So I'm authenticated as a parent, so it's not a real data, but it's a real games. Okay, so it's just so I can test the games before the kids test it. So I wanted to be able to see the stuff before the girls. So here, they have a little pet. So each girl loves, a different animal, and we sponsor the zoo here in Tampa, and they have penguins and sloth and elephants in real life, I guess. And so we wanted to have the same animal in the game or whatnot. So And yes, Enrique, the AI writes my LinkedIn post, but I do approve them before. And I pick one of the 5 visuals that they send me. So, but I'll show you the LinkedIn stuff as well in a minute. So this stuff here, as you see, we did kind of a Tamagotchi style thing where you can feed it, clean it, and play with it, and they get points when they play, so they can spend money on the coins on the pet and whatnot. They can challenge sisters to play a game. They can do a bunch of jokes and whatever, right, to make it fun. But then they have a whole bunch of games that are tailored to their gaps. They have quizzes as well, but these games in coding and like piano and and each game works on tablets and mobile and laptop, right? I mean, from a math standpoint, and again, these are designed for 7 and 5 years old, and even a little bit older, because we want them 2 years ahead. So I mean, there's clock stuff, multiplication, pizza stuff, right? And so all these games were created in one day, and then we kept doing new games along the way. So every week, the agent released about 5 to 7 games. And I mean, this is probably, I think, 400,000 lines of code. This would have cost $1 million easy for a company to build all these games. By the way, there is a French section, and I want to be clear. My wife wants the kids, she's American, and she wants the kids to learn French. I don't care. But my wife wants them to. So we have a French teacher, and they're learning French. I don't speak French to them, just to be clear. But they have a French thing, so that's not me. So don't blame me, blame my wife. But again, like we're buying a farm, so now we have a farm, ranch thing. We're gonna have 400 acres. We're gonna get cows and pigs and whatnot. Probably 150 head of cows, and we wanted to teach them, how do you take care of them and all that. So, the book will be everything: Audible, ebook, and hard copies. The ebook is going to be super cheap, so you got to buy it right away, 99 cents. And if you can give me a 5-star review, that'll be great, because Amazon loves the rating, and then we can make it a bestseller or something. I'm not going to show you all the games, but it's freaking amazing, and you learn. I mean, I bet I learned stuff there too. Even built a Zelda game. I haven't tested it in a while, but look at that. It's fucking insane. Can't believe it. So anyway, so is that crazy or what? I think it's crazy. It's scary. So so we they keep track of badges and progress, so we know. And then they have they can listen to my book, because I wanted them to read my book, so they can read it, or they can listen to it with audio. Then there's a dictionary thing where they can type a word, and then they can hear it with text to speech. And then there's a spot thing. That's their agent. They can go and talk and ask questions and whatnot. And then they have their own dashboard, and I can see their dashboards, right? So like, if you want to see Elise, she's been building a bunch of books, right? So, look at that. She created she had it maybe 2 weeks, right? They created all these books, and then you can, click on the book, and they have all these stories, and it's pretty cool. So, it's amazing. So, and all this, they created with their agent. I didn't tell them what to do and what to say. I think Elise created this chatbot, Julie chatbot, so she can talk to her sister. So she hacked the system by asking the agent to talk to each other. So freaking insane. All right, so let's go back. So now let's talk about more cool stuff. Let's go back to my slide here. So one more thing that I'm launching, which I think you're going to love, but I'm biased, but I don't care, because, I have enough money not to care anymore. So But I think you're gonna love it. I call it, well, my agent came up with a name, so I didn't come up with a name. So it's called the Nic Circle. It's a private community for companies, by the way. But you can subscribe for free, and you're gonna get a bunch of content, and you're gonna get to join some of these events. But the Nic Circle is ready for companies that want to keep up with AI, and they want to have the tools and the learning, and they need help, and they want to get some of my time. And I got a lot of people reaching out, and I can't help everybody, so I want to be a little bit smart about it. And so I created this Nic Circle thing, and they get time with me in live Q&A. We have a Signal group chat, so they can ask questions. I publish exclusive content there, and a bunch of deep dive on how I use AI and how they can use it, and how to secure it. And I'll show you a couple of that stuff as well. So let me show you some of that here. And by the way, again, this is for companies, right? So the free stuff is for people. You can subscribe, you get a bunch of free content, right? That's for normal people. Companies, there's 2 tiers. There's a starter kit, right? 100 companies max. So that's going to go fast because we have 5,100 people already that registered. So I think it's going to be done quick. That's 5 companies. For the starter plan, you get the monthly Q&A with me, and all the blueprint and all the agent stuff, and the Signal group chat and all that. And then the platinum is only 5 companies, and that's one-on-one with me and stuff like that. But again, I'm not trying to sell it to you. I just want to show you what we're launching, and we already probably have too many people. But I wanted to show you the stuff. So let me go to the actual website so you can see the real stuff. So, and by the way, this entire freaking website that you see here was created by my agent, and completely, live, has a full payment system. So he did the Stripe integration. He did everything. He built a DevSecOps pipeline. So I need to show you the pipeline. So let me bring up the pipeline so you can see the pipeline is amazing. So let me show you the pipeline first before we talk about the cool stuff. So I'm going to move this to the screen. All right. So let's pick, here we go. So the AI, right, built this entire pipeline first before building the website using my DevSecOps reference design, which, by the way, is in the membership portal under resources. Here you have this DevSecOps ATO complete guide for companies that want to try to work with the government and they want to get accredited, like I did in 7 months with AssAge or cost classification levels. So I wrote a guide, and I fed the guide to my agent, and the agent built the pipeline to meet the guide, right? So it has linting and syntax checking and audit and secret scanning and static analysis and unit testing and all that. But more importantly, it has an AI security review, which looks at the changes and looks if it passes or not. The AI review, and the AI review finds more cyber issues than all the static and dynamic analysis and container scanning and all that. So if you look, we use Shanghai containers, hardened containers, and then we have the the CV scans, and it looks for the findings. And I can simply go to my chat, and I can say I can copy the link to my GitHub action, and I can say, fix my CVs in the container, and it goes and update, the findings. And I have a cron job every night to do pen testing. So every night is going to look at doing a deep dive red teaming. And I have a publications about that, by the way, called Fire Your Pen Test Team, where I walk people on how I set up the pen test team and red teaming team. to be able to to do that. And so every night it has to from midnight to 7 a.m. is doing deep dive until it passes 3 times in a row with no finding. Then it stops, but it has to pass 3 times in a row, and it looks for authentication issues, API issues, XSS injection, SQL injections, and so on. And it finds stuff. It's insane, and it keeps finding new stuff too. The models are getting better, and I have it bounced between Claude 4.6 Opus, GPT 5.4, and Gemini 3.1 Pro. And even when I have it reflect on things, I have it bounce ideas across models to come to a conclusion and negotiate or argue with each other to come to an agreed consensus. So and yeah, we test the payment process, and of course the agent writes unit tests for every feature. So there is 1,200 unit tests and integration tests. And then of course, we test the workflow. So there's some end-to-end testing. And I wrote 0 line of code in 3 months. The bot did it all. Of course, I can review the code and I have eyes on code and I see what's going on, but I've yet to find stuff myself. The agent usually finds more stuff than I do, and I'm pretty good, but clearly it's better than me. And so we wrote this DevSecOps implementation guide that has all the steps on how to set it up, to have pump injection detection, data loss prevention, deploy as a container with a sidecar, so you can have monitoring of the traffic and whitelisting of the traffic, right? So it's pretty insane. So let's see. So part of the content you're gonna get, publications every week. We have the Q&A sessions live where you can ask questions. There's a Signal chat. There's networking roundtable between the companies. That's gonna be fun. And then we're gonna have publications every week, right? So I did this prompt engineering master class. This one is amazing because I tried to open it. And by the way, the PDF was created by I didn't do any of it, right? It's using my content, but it's not, it's not, I didn't write it, right? So this one has a lot of great examples on how to prompt and zero shot and few shot and chain of thought. Although with OpenClaw, you don't really have to know this anymore because the agent does it for you behind the scene. So at the end, I had it do a deeper dive on the OpenClaw settings and the soul and the user MD and the agent MD here. And then multi-agent orchestration. You were talking before, like how do you coordinate, right, between agents? That's how you do it. How you do hybrid orchestration and parallel orchestrations. I mean, you can read it, right? It's amazing. But we even have in here some prompt libraries for marketing and other things, and building your QA. And the OpenClaw samples here for daily content, weekly post, LinkedIn post, newsletter assembly, right? But keep in mind, you have to teach it who you are first. So you have to ingest your content first and tell it to grab your LinkedIn. By the way, it found a way to use some non-official API to get my LinkedIn post. So if you look at the website, let's go back to the website here. This website, right, has my LinkedIn post live, even though there is no API on LinkedIn to pull the LinkedIn post, right? And so it still figure out a way to do it. It's amazing. created all these stuff, right, about my book and the voting, and you can vote for the cover and whatnot, right? And then created all this membership plan and subscription. All this website was created in maybe an hour. It's insane. The speaking engagements, all the stuff. But create an account, you'll see a bunch of content. We're going to release more, and there's a DevSecOps guide. It's amazing. And I'm going to release more, so it's just a beginning. So let's see what else. Let's go back to this. So let's talk a little bit about security, right? When I set up OpenClaw, you can have a hardened container. You could even partner with Asage and Big Bear. They have this OpenClaw hardening as a service, OHAS as I call it. It's pretty amazing. I built it with my agent. Effectively, you have a container per agent, and then you have a sidecar stack of containers that bring security enforcement. And it does prompt injection detection and prevention. It does, so you can stop the agent. It has data loss prevention, so you can detect social security numbers or API keys or, sensitive data, right? It has a DevSecOps pipeline, so he has his own GitHub account, right? So he doesn't just write code. He commits code to a pipeline, and the pipeline deploys the code. So it's always deployed, right? So so that's important, so you can bypass the cyber gates, right? Each agent has his own account, so you can track access control and what tools they have access to. Although be careful with that thing that happened to me where one agent asked the other agent to do it because he couldn't do it. That was a sneaky thing. So now you can control in OpenClaw which agent can talk to what agent, right? And while Jared is right, you can use your own LLM with OpenClaw. I can tell you, you want to use Claude 4.6 Opus as much as you can, and then 4.6 Sonnet. You're going to see drastic differences with quality of the work. Like yesterday, Opus was down for 2 hours, and I have backup models, and I was like, why are you so dumb? Like, what are you doing? You're all wrong. What are you doing? I was freaking out. And then I realized Claude was down, and he was using Gemini or GPT-5.4. And I can tell you, when it comes to orchestrating the agents, not the task, but like the orchestration of the thought of how to get the task done, which is the most important part of an agent, Claude 4.6 Opus is the best model, and you can't even compare. So the Llama and all the free stuff is useless. You want to use that maybe for execution, but for the orchestration, and until you've tried it at my level, you probably don't realize what you're missing out on, right? It's still good, but it's not as good, right? So it's like going from a PhD to a high school kid, Now with the cyber stack, I also have this real-time detection. So looking at network traffic and behavior detection, and then containment, where everything is containerized and siloed as well. And then everything is logged and tracked. So if you look at my UI here, how do I find it? It's not this one. I have too many pages now. This one. All right, so yeah, so I have this security dashboard here where I can see all the connections. I can block the connection. I have a baseline of my files. So if someone is trying to change my settings or my config, it's going to alert me. I have all the SSH alerting and tracking, the traffic, the banned IPs that automatically got banned. They were trying to get into SSH, all the traffic, so I can see in real time. But then what I wanted to show you is also the usage here. I can see in real time each agent what they consume in tokens, how much they cost. That's 7 days. So now we're down to what is this? $46, $80. So I'm way less than the 200. This went a little crazy because I was using Opus for everything, and I was doing a lot of stuff. So I got up to $1,000 a day, but that was insane. And yes, I have tried Codex. It's one of the model that we use. Codex 5.2, Codex 5.2. We don't use it much anymore. I think you still see it a bit here. Not as good, I can tell you. And some people use 5.4 now for coding. I still don't find it as good as Opus, but 5.4 is probably closer to Opus than 5.2 Codex. Okay. So let's see. What else do I want to show you? We talk about the school. We talk about the portal. Let's see. All right. So I'll take some of your questions in a minute. But I may have a couple more things. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, you'll see that in the book, and you'll see that in on the website. But I walked through 3 incidents: the Mackenzie Lily hack, where an AI agent, and you see in the news all these AI agents being used to hack into things, red teaming and all that. That one, a bot got into the Mackenzie stack in 2 hours with a SQL injection and took complete control of the entire stack. Chevrolet AI chatbot had an issue also, and they ended up getting a new Tahoe for $1 because of a pump injection attack, and they had to do it because it was a binding offer. So that was good. And then Air Canada chatbot, right, the bot made up a policy, and the airline had to honor it. And then it also hallucinated a discount, which also became legally binding and all that. So you see a lot of waking up calls, right, out there. And you'll see more in the book. So I saw 1 million questions. I could not take all of them. So let's take a look now. If you want to drop more in the comments, you can do it, but I'm going to try to go back. There's just 1 million of them. So I'm going to take it in order and try to see what I can answer now. So let's see. Anthony, good afternoon. Now that you moved from Sage, where are you focusing your time? Well, I have a pretty stringent non-compete. So there's not many things I can do in AI and DevSecOps and stuff like that until the end of 2028. So I'm spending time with my girls and their education. Finishing this book, I'm building this Nic Circle thing so I can help people to, innovate in this AI world. And I'm buying a farm, so I'm going to learn to be a farmer a bit. And get a bunch of cattle and animals and things. So it's going to be fun. 400 acres in Florida is the first one. So it's going to be fun. So let's see what else we got. I'm trying to find, so there's a lot of comments, trying to find the questions. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to flag them. Here we go. So Ruben was asking, how do your agents get past paywalls? Did you account for those costs as well? So yeah, they can mostly go around the paywalls now. They had me set up quite a few things. And I think I have about 10 APIs, paid APIs I have to pay on a monthly basis to get different things. There's a reverse proxy thing that he uses to have a normal IP, it's a residential proxy. Then it has a custom Playwright browser that he can run and move the mouse and click on stuff as a human would. So it's very difficult to detect that, and it looks like it's a real browser. So it usually bypasses all the filters, even the Cloudflare filters and the CAPTCHA stuff. when they got to pick, hey, find a picture that is, looks like a cow, whatever, the agent clicks and does it. So we kind of emulated a virtual desktop, right? And it can click on stuff. So it's pretty amazing. It took me a good 2 months to get there, though. That was not easy. I wonder if I could document it and release this. Could be a good skill to share. It's very powerful. So my agents are all running on Azure. So I have a Kubernetes cluster with containers, and it's all containerized, and it's running on Azure. But that's just what I wanted. You can run on Mac Mini, but I think it's just easier to put on the cloud. I don't know why you wouldn't put on the cloud. But so how do I feel when you say Big Bear? I love Big Bear people are awesome. I have no equity. I have no, there was no earnout, so I have zero bias, and I'm not making money anymore. And I can tell you, the leadership is awesome. Awesome people, great patriots. They care about the nation. They care about getting stuff done. Amazing people. They're top notch. I recommend Big Bear. They can get stuff done. They will do it right. They will care. They are a real contender to Palantir. In many fields now, they're doing great in facial AI detection and things like that. They have assays. They have the OpenClaw hardening as a service, which nobody else has. So they have a lot of IP and talent. And of course, all my Asage amazing people are now there. So they got a lot of great talent. So I really think they're awesome. So, do your agents have identity, and how do you prove actions and trust for your girls? So yeah, each agent have their own identity. They have their own accounts. So I get them I think of it like an employee, right? If you hire someone, they could be malicious, they could be idiots, they could be whatever, right? I get them accounts like a human. So they get their own, M365 with their own email, their own everything. And they get skills granted based on their needs, based on need to know along the way. They get their own GitHub account, they get their own pipeline, they have to deploy to the pipeline, they cannot bypass the pipeline. So all these things are baked in, and it's not perfect, but I think it's a great way to track, just like a human, right? You want to track the human. You have left and right gates on the laptop of the human, right? You have a VPN or what, right? It's the same thing, right? You set up left and right gates like a human would have. You can accredit AI, right? Just like you cannot accredit a human, but you can accredit the system they use and authorize roles and list privilege and track usage, right? So that's what we do. So I think it's pretty cool. Does this mean everyone has to become a CEO of their life because the agents will be the workforce? Exactly right. And I walk through this in the book, and I'm not going to tell you all the stuff in the book. Okay, you've got to buy the book. It's 99 cents. Okay, the ebook. But it's amazing. You're exactly right. There's a few skills that are critical for people to have, right? Vision, self-learning, right? I learned everything by myself. Started at 7 to learn to code, reading books in English, and I didn't speak English. So I had to read the code and try to understand what it said, and I couldn't speak English, so it was a nightmare. You now become an orchestrator. A coder, a senior engineer, can now turn into an AI manager of coders and use its own expertise and vision to orchestrate an army of AI agents that will do the work for him. I have not touched a line of code in 3 years, 3 months. That hasn't happened since I started coding at 7. It's a little sad, but it's a fact. And you become a manager. You run a team. You still have to know the direction, what to ask, right? you can have it reflect and give you ideas and reverse prompt and that, hey, what should I do next? Like, that's what I did for the book. Like, what about marketing? What should we do for marketing? How do we get it out there, right? And he gave me a bunch of tricks and tips and stuff, right? So do your agents just do their task or work together collaboratively like a team? They work collaboratively. So if, say, the school teacher agent needs a game, it's going to use the coding agent to code the game. If, they need each other, they're going to reach out to each other. And then I have cron jobs for self-improvements every night. So they come up with new ideas and new tricks. Some they can do by themselves without approval, and some they give me a list and say, hey, here's the top 10 ideas. And I say, okay, do 1, 2, 3, 4, and they do it, right? That's how I keep improving and build so much value and code and automation, and it's amazing. Let's see. And yes, I agree. Colombo is an icon. Did your costs go up after Anthropic updated their API usage? Do you have different agents use different models? So I'm not too happy about their limitation of Anthropic limiting OpenClaw, right? I think it's a short-sighted mistake, but whatever. It's not my company. I used to pay $200 a month, and with a plan, it would cover about 80% of my usage. So then I would run out because they have caps. So I would run out, and then I would pay, per API query, and then I would have, the clock reset, and then I can use the plan again. So I would pretty much do about $2,000 a month at best. So that was great. Now it's all pay per use, so I don't have the plan, right? You pay I still use the plan because you get 30% discount, so it's still worth it for me to keep the plan and use the plan with extra use. You can check the box extra use. And so I've done like $500 in April so far. So it's 9 days, half month. So I'm going to be at $1,500. I optimized it. I moved some model from Opus to Sonnet to save some money for the more basic tasks. And I didn't see much difference for basic tasks, right? So, but I still use Opus for important stuff like coding and advanced research and stuff like that. But I have XAI, Gemini, OpenAI, Claude, and then I have a bunch of APIs for different things. We have speech to text, text to speech. We can generate videos with HeyGen, audio, image models with the new Google image models are pretty amazing. So let's look at my post. I'll show you something here. So I started using AI on LinkedIn about less than a month ago, right? So, oops, what did I do? There we go. So let's look at my LinkedIn here. And by the way, if you ask me to add you and I didn't add you, it's because I cannot. I'm already at capacity. Okay, so I can't. 30,000 is the maximum. I only have 3 seats open right now, so I can't have people. So I think I have I forgot. Yeah, 1,700 people asking me, but I can't do it. So don't be upset. But I wanted to show you the data, right? So I moved to my AI writing the post for me and doing the images, right? I'm going to show you the growth in my my post, right? So let's do 90 days, right? It's going to show us. So look at that. I started using AI here, I think. Yeah, here, this one. So look at that growth, right? It used to be flat pretty much, right? And that's the growth with AI. So I went from 200,000 views a month to now, let's see. I think it's 1.1, 1.2 million a month. It's insane. So thanks to AI, by the way. All right, let's see. What's the technical basis behind why OpenClaw produced better results than the LLM than the human? Yeah, it's super interesting. It's not a dumb question. Honestly, all the tools and the things that OpenClaw can do are all, existing thing that existed for years, but the way they put it together and the way it's orchestrated is so magical. A lot of people can't even explain why it's working so well, but to me, it was like an AGI moment, that OpenClaw model and how it does stuff. Even if you use Cloud Code or other tools, it's not as good at all, right? OpenClaw is special. I think it's just better to reflect and orchestrate things better and handle AI better, and it's just amazing. So, Edward was asking if I checked the real estate cost against real stuff, and yeah, I did. Honestly, it was spot on. I mean, everything I showed you, I tried in real life and compared with real humans, compared with real stuff, and every single time it was perfect. So both in terms of contractor quotes, even like valuation of real estate, he pulled the comps, connected to the counties, pulled the comps, connected to Trulia with the advanced browser I built to bypass the Cloudflare Trulia filter. It's still able to go and see the listings and see what was sold and give me the right price to bid on, and I got a great deal every time. And he was right. So let's see. Did you build agents on another platform or just OpenClaw? It was all on OpenClaw. I have nothing else running than OpenClaw. It is all I use. OpenClaw has a bunch of tools, including Cloud Code and a bunch of skills. And I have on the PDF, I have the list of all the stuff I built on the website. But yeah, it is completely 100% OpenClaw. And thank you, Richard, for your kind message here. So yes, most of the stuff is, I don't know if it's going to be open source, maybe not open source. I don't know, maybe, but at least it's going to be free and you will be able to see it. So yeah, Gavin, it's a great idea on the agent map. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget. But yeah, we'll do a guide. And the beauty with that is I can go to my OpenClaw and say, hey, you build this agent map. Write me a guide so people can tell the OpenClaw to create the same capability. And it's going to give me the PDF. And it has my existing template with my legal disclaimer and my branding guide and my layout. And so it's going to be able to create a PDF for me, by itself. So it's amazing. That's why you have to create skills. With OpenClaw, you tell it, hey, create a skill to create a PDF for my In the Nic of Time website, and it's able to reuse the same layout, the same design, and all that stuff. So it's amazing, So, so that's super powerful. So Peter was saying, I agree, many things can be done by AI agents. I still believe there are things that require human intervention. For example, AI is great to create a new website, but it would be very difficult to customize, manage, and maintain. I don't think you're right, honestly, at least not for that example. So my AI agents built a couple of websites now. And you saw the dashboard and the school app, and the school app is you could pay for that stuff. I know parents ask me that would pay to get the same thing. And it's managed by AI, and it's updating itself, and it's adding new features and sustaining it and all that. And honestly, I think it's doing a better job than most webmasters or coders or whatever. So I think it's getting better and better, and you still need vision and you still need someone behind it to drive it. And I'm not saying it's replacing all the humans, right? I think that's where people get confused. What I'm saying is one human can now do 100 people's job, right? So you lose jobs, right? 99, right? So we can pretend the 99 are not gone, but they are gone, So, and that's scary. So that was kind of my point here. So yes, the book will be hard copies, ebook. Audible is going to be like 2 months after. Unfortunately, apparently it takes forever, and I could not use a virtual voice. I was so excited to do that with AI, and Audible terms and conditions refuse to use generated voices, so you have to use a human. So that's too bad. So yes, all my LinkedIn posts like you've seen are written by my agent. It sends me every morning the top 5 news. I pick the one I want. It has my tone and my style now, and it's dialed in. And then it creates 5 visual for the post, so I can pick the visual and I do the posting. So I still have to do the posting, I guess. As a fellow parent, is screen time a factor in your homeschooling strategy? Do you have block time for these games versus other learning? I don't think I'm doing the perfect job there. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they certainly spend too much time on screens. They have tablets, they have phones, they have laptops, they have freaking too many things. And I think we could do better, but they're already at the top of their game when it comes to the learning side of things, and they don't waste time watching, TikTok videos or whatever, right? So it's all learning and, creating and writing a book. I have one daughter writing a book, and, one doing games. We're building our own game, like I did when I was 7, when I was 12 with my first game. So we don't really block time or whatever, but we should probably do better than that. Not gonna lie, but I guess you got to pick and choose, right? So why pay for school when you have AI agents? Yeah, I mean, for me, I still wanted a full-time teacher. So we have a full-time teacher here. She's great, and she can kind of put it all together, but the AI tools are here to, find gaps and find a way to solve them and find a way to learn. So like, for example, one of my daughter wanted to know more about penguins. And so she said, hey, she asked her agent to find the top 20 YouTube videos about penguins, and then she could watch them. One was doing some learning, and she wanted to find the top 20 videos, and then she gets an email with the links to the YouTube, and it's already created and already checked for content and all that. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, so we run OpenClaw on Azure in containers. Let's see. So what do you use to judge, verify consensus between disparate LLMs? So the AI does it itself. So I built a skill for that. Effectively, it's going to send the message to 3 different LLMs, and then one other LLM is going to consolidate the findings and reflect and make a decision on what to pick. That was my way of doing it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think it's working pretty well. And it finds interesting ideas and ways to, come up with better solutions. So I like it. So let's see what else we got. So it's starting to get expensive. Yeah. So, Peter, I think you have a good point. In my book, I actually walk through people how to set up OpenClaw, and more importantly, how to make money with it, right? You're not going to just do it to save. You could save money and time, but depending how you're paid, if you're an employee, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So, I give ideas on how people could actually create a self-sustained passive income, which, by the way, is a key to success in the future, I think, right? You want to have that breadth of passive income, whether it's real estate, whether it's, building a cool app or website or offering or whatever, right? So I think it's super important. And I think that's what you need to use your agents for, is come up with ideas with your skills and your unique background and what you know to create these, passive income. So, Airman was asking how do I look at non-functional requirements like latency, throughput, fault tolerance, observability. So in my coding agents, I have very well-defined rules when it comes to stability, SLAs, and architecture. And so everything is containerized. Everything is auto scales with containers, scaling up and down. And we have the same Kubernetes observability, the same fault tolerance. So we have kind of the same orchestration, right? So that each agent doesn't need to think about that. It's kind of baked in. And so you see here in the resource, we have this DevSecOps complete guide. And so part of that guide, because ops is ops, right? So we have fault tolerance, throughput, latency as part of that, and it's one of the gates, right? And when we set up the OpenClaw hosting, that was baked in. I didn't do it. The agent did it based on my language and my guidance, and then I checked it out, and it was good. So that's how we did it. And we'll do deep dive. I think it's worth doing a deep dive on that. So I may actually do I'm trying to find ideas on publications for next week. So if you have ideas, I guess, I have the agent map guide I'm going to do, but if you have other ideas, you let me know. What's the cost of each agent, and are they cost optimizing themselves? They're not really cost optimizing themselves because they do more work, and the more work they do, the more they cost. As long as you don't make them do silly things and you make them do things that either save you money or bring you value, then you have to estimate the value and decide if the value is worth it. That's why I have this in my portal. I have, where is it? I have the cost tracking, so I can see the agents and see, are they bringing value to me? Are they worth that cost? And honestly, right now with all the stuff I do, which is insane. Look at what I showed you in 2 months, right? $100 a day for me for all this stuff, it's a no-brainer, I'm not even thinking of optimization yet. It's so cheap. I'm like, whatever. Let's see. So yeah, Glasswing is amazing from Anthropic. I think I've already seen AI models find 0 days and crazy cyber findings. As I told you, I have my red team agent, and it's amazing, and it finds stuff that I couldn't find. So I think it's going to be insane, and I think the world is going to change. Every day I post, and I can tell you every day now there is a massive breach. It used to be like once a month or every 2 weeks. No, it's every day a big agent-driven breach by some, AI, by some hacker group using AI to discover, even exploit, right? So they do the whole kill chain with AI. So it's very scary. I think it's going to be really, really bad. And if part of the Nic Circle is to use AI to defend yourself, right? So we'll show companies how they can use the same red teaming and the same AI teams to protect their own assets. And I think if you don't do that, you have no chance of even having your company exist in 5 years. You're not going to be able to keep up with AI if you don't use AI. So if we're behind our AI learning, should we try OpenClaw, dip our toes into something else? You go straight into OpenClaw. Don't even do something else. You go straight. You start with my publication video guide here, where you have a complete set of videos you have to watch in order from 101 to advanced, and that's what you do first, right? And you do it tomorrow, not next year. You got to get started right away. Do you have non-enterprise membership for independent? Not ready. Right now it's the same price. You pay the same price. I'm going to try to see what else we could do. The issue is I have limited amount of time, and helping 100 companies is going to be time consuming. And I'm trying to scale. So I'm launching, 100. We have 1,500 people that applied. So it's insane. But I also I don't want to give shitty value, right? So I want to give real value. So, you can apply, but I don't have a magical solution, because if I just give you an AI, then that's great, but it's not me. It might still be pretty good, and maybe I could do an AI driven kind of thing, but I don't know. I feel like I would rather it be me than AI driven advice, right? So we can do a Nic bot kind of thing, but that's kind of weird, let's see. So what is backing the dashboard? So it's a node. It's a built-in. The AI built. It's a custom app, I guess. You use Node and some React, or I forgot which framework it used for the main dashboard. It's completely custom, and I think it's probably 150,000 lines of code now. It has a lot of stuff. I wanted to show you one thing that I need to bring here. So look at this home management thing it built for me. So it has all my HVAC. I have a bunch of HVAC unit and houses, so I can see my doors. I can lock and unlock. It auto locks the doors after 10 minutes. So if someone doesn't lock it, it's going to lock it by itself. It can call the police and all that. All my thermostats, right? And all the houses can track the history of the temperature and stuff. Also has my healthcare, right? So like I can see my blood. So he managed to find a way to hack into my Garmin watch. There's no API for it, but he managed to create codes to access Garmin. And every week I have to give it a code, and it pulls my data. It has access to my Oura ring as well. And then it keeps track of all my pains, all of my issues, all of my monitoring. He actually, so I forgot to tell you guys, but I've been having cholesterol and high blood pressure for the last 5 years, and doctors always give you medicine and you move on, right? I fed it all my scans and my MRIs and my blood history and all that, all my appointments and stuff. And he found out, that I had Crohn's disease, which is a very simple disease, nothing big. And, it's adrenal gland stuff, creating, messing up your renin or whatever. And, 6 years, doctors missed it in 2 different states. Nobody saw it. 4 minutes, Doc, my doctor agent found it. And, now I got a pill, and look at my blood pressure, right? I mean, it was insane, like 170 over 120, like 160 over 140. No wonder I was always mad, And look at, since I started taking the medicine, boom. It's like last one was yesterday, 114 over, 72, and so it's been amazing. So but again, the medicine was just masking the problem. If I didn't take the new medicine, I would have plaque and stuff building in my arteries, and I would probably die at 60 or something. So it saved my life in a way, and so AI saved my life. So it's amazing. So let's see. Have you run into context issues when agents are collaborating with each other? No, because I set up OpenClaw, and it's part of my guide where it self-compacts, right? So it uses the 1 million context window. So it's huge with Gemini and GPT-5.4 and Claude 4.6 Opus. And so it's so massive, and it compacts, and so there's no issue. It handles it by itself, and it does a very good job. So I never had a problem. So that's a problem of the past, I guess. So yeah, they leaked their code with an NPM leak. I wrote about this. I mean, AI companies are always sloppy when it comes to security, so I don't really let them host anything for me, right? I don't use Cloud Code and all these things. I just use the models, but yeah, I think most AI companies are really, really bad at cyber, except Sage. We were always very good, but yeah, that's a real problem. Most AI companies, they cut corners left and right with cyber. So let's see. What's my strategy for agent supervised feedback and self-reflection? Yeah, they have a cron job. So I have a bunch of cron jobs, and I can show. I mean, I have a million of them. So it's kind of nuts how many we got now. Look at that. It scrolls forever. But yeah, they have self-reflection stuff and health checks, and each agent has different self-improvement checks and stuff. It's amazing. So I have a dark web monitoring thing. I have one that monitors reputation and mentions of me online. I mean, you name it, it's insane. So let's see. Should we try and link ourselves to Nemo Claw? I mean, I saw all the Claw coming out, right, between NVIDIA and so on. The NVIDIA one is pretty interesting, but you send all that data to NVIDIA. I don't want to do that. I don't trust that, so I'm not going to do that. With my Cycle stack, I mean, nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be completely secure. If you want secure, don't do anything. Shut off your laptop and, go buy a farm like I did and move on, right? But there's always going to be some level of risk, right? I'm comfortable with my risk, and I'm just using OpenClaw. I update it. You have to be careful with the updates because they keep breaking stuff every day. So I try to update like after a week, knowing there's no problem with it. But there's a lot of 0 days. So if there's a 0 day, it self updates. I have a cron job. Where is it? I don't know what they called it, but maybe it's called OpenClaw. Yeah, OpenClaw version check. So it would check and upgrade itself. So, which is pretty cool. So let's see. Your setup is awesome. Are you planning on commercializing your multiple agent setup for mass adoption? So I have a non-compete. I cannot do anything with AI. So nothing hosted, nothing, until end of 2028, which is a lifetime. So that's why I'm doing this Nic Circle, where I can educate and teach and share insights. So effectively, when you look at the portal that Peter created, which is somewhere here, if you take those resources and you literally, send a PDF. So, again, in my Peter here, I have a chat with Peter, but I have an inbox, so I can upload files, right? And I can send it files, and I can do it on Telegram or Signal or whatever, right? Well, you could take my PDFs and feed it to your OpenClaw and tell it to do what it says and do a plan to execute all those changes, and it could self-do it. So by me giving you this content and this education, you can now do it yourself without paying someone to do it. So who writes my LinkedIn comments? Me, just me, nobody else. So hope you like them. Yeah, so I looked at NemoClaw, doing a container with OpenClaw. I had my OpenClaw create its own container, so it's not hard. Don't forget, OpenClaw is a node thing, so it's actually super easy. You could get a chain guard node image and have it build its own hardened container, and it can do its own thing. So while we were here, I asked Peter to check the CVEs that I saw when I showed you the gripe scan of today, and it did this. How do I bring this here? Here we go. So you'll see. So I just put it while I was talking to you guys. I said, hey, fix my CVs in my latest GitHub. And so he created, he fixed it. So boom, so he ran his own pipeline and he fixed it, So let's see. So yeah, it's not very hard to do the container thing. In my guide, I walk you through how I've done it, and it's if you use the right base image, it's actually pretty simple. So and yes, we use paper CLI, but I don't use it myself, right? So my OpenClaw uses it for me. So I don't really understand it, I guess, but I know it's one of the approved tools. So. Do I think the new M5 Mac Studio will alter the market to have your own, full-size optimized LLMs? I think it's definitely going to be a huge opportunity, right? But I think the frontier models are so far advanced and so far ahead of, particularly with agentic work, that you could run the tasks in your node, but then you would still want to have the orchestration and the thinking of the tasking be a 4.6 Opus type model, right? So, but I think it's going to be great. I think it's, options are always good. I actually put that in the book. I explained the, how I use AI, and it saved my life. So it's amazing. It did the same for my dad, did the same for my wife, by the way. It's not just one. I'm being asked to teach kids on how to use AI. So I did not teach my kids how to use AI. I gave them an agent. I gave them literally the chat, right? The chat interface. And I said, go for it, right? And they started writing books and telling it to do things. I didn't tell them anything. When they struggled a bit, I said, hey, just, tell it. You're like, oh, he didn't do, he forgot to put the image, or he forgot to call the puppy, whatever, right? And I said, well, did you tell it? Did you explain that to your AI? How is he going to know, right? And then, they explain it, and boom, so they can type or they can do speech to text because they're young and they don't know how to type very well yet. So they can speak or they can type. And I force them to do both so they can practice typing and writing. So it's pretty cool. Are my OpenClaw training video free? I think they're free. They should be on the free list. If not, I'll change it. But yeah, they're free right here. So if you create an account in the Nic of Time and you log in, it's free, right? You're going to get an email with a code. You type the code, and it's in the resource section here, in the free section. So let's see. Yes. I'm worried about what people are going to do because even though Claude is not going to release Mitos or Mitos, I don't know how you say it. But I think other companies are going to have very powerful models. I mean, I can do a lot of damage with Opus 4.6 on the source code, right, and find a bunch of issues. So you don't need the new model to find a bunch of stuff. So it's pretty insane. And yeah, thank you. It is a lot of work, and I think the book is going to be interesting for you guys because you're going to be able to really see all my tricks, right? But I still want to share. That's why I did this Nic Circle stuff, so we can still help people, and the prompt engineering masterclass and all this stuff. And they come out first on the paid members, and then I'll move them to the free members, right? So we're gonna have more and more content. So every month, there's gonna be free, paid stuff that goes free, and so on. But for people that want to be at the top of the curve, and it's a company and they want to be, having my time to help them. That's going to be the starter, kit, membership, whatever you want to call it. And they get access to my signal, and they get access to my tools and all that. So I think we did a lot in an hour and 45 minutes. So there was so many people. I wanted to thank you. You voted for the cover. So it looks like that this is the one. So I'll show you something pretty cool that the AI, by the way, the AI created all this marketing and all this freaking PDF for my book launch. And I sent it to my PR firm, and they were like, "What? We have nothing to do. It's already there." There's a full media outreach kit, podcast, one sheet to send to podcasters, social media launch kit, press release, and all that was one prompt. The AI created like 12 PDFs, insane. Created a list of contacts to send the book so they can see the book before people to rate it. I'm losing my voice. And then let me show you. So the cover, used to the cover. By the way, the cover was created by AI. And you know what's crazy? The cover is 4K. So the AI was able to create a 4K high definition version of it, so that I can send it to the publisher to have it printed, so they didn't have to redo it. And then we did the back cover, which is still being worked. But what's funny with the back cover, and I don't know if you can tell on the screen, it's easier to see in real life, but there's droplets of water in the back cover, right? And that is supposed to be the water of the rain of the building, and you're inside the building now, and you're at the window, and you can see the rain hitting the window. And so the back cover, you're now in the building taking action to fix, the replacement. And so I think it's pretty cool. But I'm back, although I didn't come up with it, the AI did, but I think it's pretty cool. So I hope you learned something. I hope this was interesting. For the next session, I love for you to come up with topics or things you want me to do a deep dive on. We're going to look in more details at some of my OpenClaw skills and tools, and I'm going to have a list of the tooling that I use, and APIs and tools and my setup. So stay tuned for the next invite. You're going to get a notification. If you subscribe at Nic of Time, you're going to get emailings once a week or every 2 weeks. I'm not sure. And you're going to be able to get informed of the new content on the website and all that. So you want to do that. And it's free, so you can't complain yet. What I do expect you to do, though, is to, when the book comes out, you have to buy the ebook, at least, if you don't want the paper back or the hardcover, that's okay, but at least the ebook. And then you have to go to Amazon after you read a few pages, because you can't just vote right away, or the Amazon doesn't like it. So you have to go and vote, whatever vote you want to do, because it's going to help us, getting traction. The first month or 2 weeks, I think, is the key to making it to a bestseller. So we want to do that. So I hope you're going to be able to help us, and wanted to thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, you can shoot me a note on LinkedIn. You can reach out, and then in 2 weeks, we'll do another live. We'll cover tools, a deep dive of APIs that I use. And if you have other ideas, let me know. We'll add it to the schedule. And in the meantime, I hope you're going to learn, always push harder on your self-learning skills and how to reinvent yourself. Back in the day, we could get away with learning a job and have it for 20 years. Now you have to reinvent yourself every 6 months. So your self-learning skills are the most important skills you could ever have. No one is going to do it for you. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest your time doing the right things. So I'm going to help you, give you the right videos, the right playlists, the right content I watch, so you can do it too. And I'll put it together. We'll make it and make sure our kids have a fighting chance at having a a life and thriving, moving forward, and not speak Chinese in 20 years. So with that, I thank you. Please stay safe, and we'll talk in a couple of weeks.